Good morning. We can do better than that. I'm about to talk about dead chicken. Good morning. Yeah, we're going to see if I can get this thing set up here. Which one did? I'll let somebody intelligent do it. There we go.
Just hit either enter.
That's why you work for a government.
That's right.
My name is Bruce Meihammer, and I'm here representing Perdue Farms today. I actually work for a company called Richmond Cold Storage, and I operate the distribution facility down in Perry, Georgia. Richmond Cold Storage has a very close partnership with Perdue Farms, have a couple of facilities, and I'll touch on that a little bit. I spent 15 years with Perdue working in Maryland. And in Maryland, when people ask you, where do you work, you'd say Perdue, they say, oh, okay. And then 5 years ago, I moved to Georgia, and they say, where do you work? And I say Perdue, and they say, oh, what do you do for the governor? So we're going to talk a little bit about that partnership today, and I'm going to touch on some cold storage, some transportation, and quality, service, and reliability, which is Perdue's motto. And if you want to do business with Perdue, you'll want to know that. The partnership with Richmond Cold Storage. We actually had two facilities under contract with Perdue, Perry, Georgia, and Port of Norfolk facility. They're open book agreements, which means we hide nothing from each other. The facility in Perry is a cost-plus facility with value-added services. And value-added services means if they ask me to do something, I do it. You want to focus on friendly technology, okay? Our warehouse management systems in both of those locations are designed to work with Perdue's platform, which is SAP, and work well. And that's kind of the goal. You want to please the customer and you want to work with those platforms. And then parallel objectives, goals, and visions. To me, that's very important. Richmond Cold Storage has the same business philosophy as Perdue does. We want a quality job done. We want excellent service. We want to do it at the lowest cost. And that's pretty much it on that, I guess. On the cold storage piece, Perdue does or uses right now 19 third-party logistics cold storage facilities and run nearly 1 billion pounds a year annually through those. Fresh, frozen, blast, and export. Okay, Perdue does all of that. Right now they're focused on Midwest and Western expansion. All of that is fresh distribution and time sensitive. So as USDA will let you know, there's an expiration to fresh meat, and we're kind of bound by that. So time sensitive. Everything Perdue or any other poultry or protein company does is got to move very quickly, and it's very strictly held to that. Again, the SAP platform and all of the 19 third-party warehouses that Perdue uses is required to either use that platform or touch into it. And the corn horn, which Bob talked about this morning, everybody's tooting the corn horn. Grain is up. So when grain is up, Perdue gets more and more, just as any other protein company would, focused on controlling costs. So if you want to do cold storage business with Perdue, you'll want to do whatever you can to help them control their supply and cold chain costs. Excuse me, on the transportation side, Perdue runs about 114,000 truckloads annually. Some of that's interplant, some of that is plant to customer, some of it is plant to port. There's no rail usage unless it's running out of the port, but Perdue doesn't contract that. 20% of the truckloads that they run are interplant, meaning they'll actually move product and materials from one facility that they own to another, and back and forth, and sometimes 2 and 3 times, and you're wondering what in the heck are they doing. And then on the transportation side, fuel, which is also driven in some part by grain, but fuel costs right now are a big focus of the transportation side. Talking with the transportation manager before I come down here, his biggest challenges right now is availability and capacity, especially when they're considering or working on or focused on their Midwest to Western expansion. They're short on trucks. Perdue runs about 50% of what they transport via truck on a private fleet. They own their own trucks and trailers. And Frank Perdue used to always say, we're a poultry company that has trucks. We're not a trucking company, meaning he wasn't interested in getting in the transportation business. The private fleet was all an aspect of service, okay? And the other challenges they're facing right now is their hours of service regulations and the changes that are constantly being made to those, and just trying to keep up and making sure that things are going well. In quality, service, and reliability, Frank Perdue was the second generation Perdue. The company actually started in 1920 out of Salisbury, Maryland, with Arthur W. Perdue, his father. Frank was really the driving force behind the company for the longest time. And he really was focused on quality, service, and reliability. I mean, to him, it was more than just a motto. And those folks at Perdue really take that seriously. So you'll want to keep that in mind if you contact Perdue and expect to do business. If you take quality, service, and reliability as seriously as they do, then you'll have a good, strong partnership. Frank was also a very shrewd businessman and controlled his costs very well. One story that they would tell you is that back when he had the first production plant in Salisbury, Maryland, he would personally scrutinize his cost. And he was looking through a purchasing list one day and saw a bicycle tire. So he called the purchasing agent and he said, Randall, why is there's a bicycle tire on here? And he said, yes, sir, Frank, you know, in the plant, when we run those birds through the line, they're guided by this bicycle wheel and it needs a tire. And he said, yeah, but does it need to be a Schwinn? So just keep that in mind when working with those folks, and if there's anything that we can do to help you, feel free to contact me and we'll try to point you in the right direction.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
You're running a cold storage facility. The Chinese come in and say, wait a minute, we don't want your dark meat for a while. How does that impact you both in price of product and running your
Well, Bob, we don't let the Chinese in.
There we go. So good.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. There's no Chinese folks in here. Ultimately, you know, when something's banned or there's an export issue, the first thing, obviously, they've got to do is find storage for that. So their first step will be contact the cold storage facilities that we already do business with today and see what space is available. Outside of that, they go searching. And they've got a team of folks up there that just handle the export and cold storage business. And they'll just go searching, looking for space. So if you have space in a market like that, call them up, because
but if they can't find space, that dark meat.
if they can't find space, then they'll try to move that material into a different line of production. Mm-hmm. So maybe they can use it for dog food or something. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not on that side of the piece.
But it does have a direct impact
Sure.
on their ability to make money.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.